How does state jurisdiction change bankruptcy results? Imagine you're trying to solve a puzzle, but the pieces come from different boxes. That's a bit like how state jurisdiction influences what happens in bankruptcy cases. Even though bankruptcy is a federal process, the state laws play a big role in shaping the outcome. Bankruptcy cases are handled only in federal bankruptcy courts, which have exclusive authority over these matters. That means you cannot file or have your case decided in a state court. But the laws of the state where you file can still change what happens during and after the process. One major way state law impacts bankruptcy is through exemptions. These are rules that let you keep certain property safe from creditors during bankruptcy. Each state has its own exemption laws, so what you can protect varies a lot. For example, in some states, you might keep your entire home equity, while in others, only a small part is protected. When the bankruptcy court reviews your case, it applies the exemption laws of your state to decide what property is exempt and what becomes part of the estate to pay creditors. State jurisdiction also influences disputes that come up during bankruptcy. If a creditor or debtor has a disagreement about a claim or property, it might start in a state court. When you file for bankruptcy, an automatic stay stops most state court cases against you. But some issues like fraud allegations or disputes over whether a debt can be discharged might be brought into the bankruptcy court. Sometimes, the bankruptcy court will decide these issues, or it might send them back to the state court. Another way state law matters is through rules about claims and liens. State statutes of limitations and contract laws can affect how claims are filed and how much creditors can recover. For instance, if a claim is time-barred under state law, it might not be valid in bankruptcy. Also, the priority of liens or claims can differ based on state laws, which can change how much each creditor gets paid. The relationship between federal and state courts is guided by principles like abstention and comity. Bankruptcy courts might choose not to hear certain issues if they're better suited for state courts. This helps keep the jurisdiction clear and respects the authority of state courts over non-bankruptcy issues. In practical terms, this means that even though bankruptcy follows federal rules, the results can look different depending on the state where you file. State exemption laws, local court procedures, and how related state court disputes are handled all influence the final outcome. Creditors involved in state court cases need to know that filing for bankruptcy can pause those proceedings, but they might need to bring their claims into bankruptcy court to protect their rights. So, in the end, state jurisdiction changes bankruptcy results mainly through the application of state laws on exemptions, claims, and property rights. While the federal court system manages the case, the state laws determine what you can keep, what claims are valid, and how much creditors might recover. Understanding these differences can help you better navigate the process and see how your state's rules might work in your favor or pose challenges.